Hey, Mama. If you're feeling invisible, scattered, or like you've been building everything alone, you're not broken. You just need a space to exhale. That's what this Women's Circle is about. Let's create a space together. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Connecting Mamas. I got Abigail and Melanie with me to show what a circle can look like. We normally do these in Zoom with a special background. It looks all differently. But I just want to talk about some of the principles of what it means to create a women's circle. And that's what really it's about is these ideas of what we're doing these live tours is just to kind of go through those principles. So it's something you can take onto and maybe create your own circle, even if you don't come join us. Like the idea of how do we talk to each other in a deeper way is really what it's about. So one of the principles is creating that sacred space. How do you create it? What does that mean for you? The idea behind is how do you create that space that does feel right for you and the participants that have joined you in your circle. For Melanie, Abby, and I, we're used to doing it in the way we do it, and that helps create the sacred space and really creating that intention behind what we're doing. And that's what the way that we run it. But that doesn't mean that necessarily the way you need to. There is no need in here. It's more about creating these principles to open up this space so people understand what's going on, and then it gives that space to have more authentic connection with each other. As the principle last week was really speaking from the heart. That's the essence of what we're going to try to. So we're going to go through our format of how we do it. And one of the first things we do is what we call stitching in. And stitching in for me is almost thinking like you're stitching a quilt. This is us like stitching ourselves together in this present moment right now, which is why the word stitching is like us creating this visual circle. Some people call it creating the rim. It's that intention of connecting you to the moment and your intention for being in this circle right now. For me, I'm Michelle stitching from Franklin, Wisconsin, and I'm just stitching with this intention of really listening for understanding. I'll pass it to Abigail.
I'm Abigail, stitching in from Las Vegas, and my intention this morning again is connection. Melanie?
My name is Melanie. I'm stitching in from Los Angeles, California, and I'm stitching in with connection today.
And we had a long chat right before this about all kinds of different things. What we really wanted to focus on was the question of what we were just going to talk about for this brief circle today. For us, what does having genuine connection really mean? What does that look like for each one of us? This is different for each of us. When we're going through a circle and taking our turn, silence is always welcome. So if someone doesn't feel, they can feel, we use the words, I'm complete, because sometimes when we do pause, it's more to gather what needs to come out next. And we don't want to jump on someone's space. That's an indication to the rest of us that now someone else can go. And so I will open the circle to whoever would like to speak first.
Here we are, authentically in front of you right now. These circles have filled a void that I didn't know I had. I grew up an only child. Just because you're surrounded by people doesn't mean you're not by yourself. I was craving conversations like I have in these circles. I was craving the connection. I was craving the authenticity of someone that I knew was listening and that I could listen to and connect with. It's such a special bond that's being created in these circles, and something that I treasure and would not have known I needed had someone not introduced me to circles, meeting Michelle. And it also helps strengthen divine connections because I follow God's steps. I follow the steps of Jesus. He says, this is where we're going. I be off in different directions at all times, never looking at where I'm going. It's like, leap, okay, I'm leaping. And then it's like, wait, maybe I shouldn't have. So I really need him to guide my steps. And he has guided my steps into this circle, which has been one of the most amazing things that I have experienced in my latter years. So that's all I wanted to say about connecting with these beautiful women. And I'm complete.
All right, I'm jumping in because I got to follow that. What Abigail doesn't know is we light a candle each week, and the candle that I light is what it says on my candle. I am here, I am here, I am here. This is my God candle, and I believe God guides our destiny. And what I have learned, what I have experienced, and what I have received in these circles isn't just the deepest love and connection. Like truly, that's what we were talking about before we came into this streaming right now, and it's already, we're almost at the 10-minute mark because none of us can keep it really short. But these are my angels. These are absolutely unquestionably my angels, and I know that they were given to me. I will just tell you that Abigail read me scripture. I do what's called soul mapping, and it's one of my ways because I didn't believe in the signs and I didn't actually have a relationship with God for a very, very long time. But 2 years ago, I started a book. I call it soul mapping. I just got to show you guys the cover of this book. It says, I am, I am, I am. And that's what's on the cover of the book here, which is she remembered who she was and the game changed. So I started this 2 years ago. This was written 4/15/2023. I met Abigail and Michelle in December 2024. And then this was well, I'm going to have to find it, but this was how can I do anything in 10 minutes, you guys? This is not fair, Michelle. But anyway, I will just tell you, I did a painting workshop with some other friends on Friday, and it says on here, there is no such thing as coincidence. It's God's way of staying anonymous. That was a quote somebody said to me. And then I added up, I'm very into numerology, and it's 4/13/2025, which comes to 17, which is the number 8. So if you can look at those glasses, right? And we're creating circles. This is genuine connection. I could go on, but I am, right? And I see God's word. That is Abigail's platform that she talks about. She is bringing me the understanding of the word that I've never had. And Michelle is bringing me, oh my God, I could go on and on. I'm going to stop. This is connection and love. And when you get into circles and start to really experience with each other true, true, true connection, we not only come home to each other, but we start to come home to ourselves and to the source that created us, whatever name we call it. I call it God. What's here right now in this circle is what I call the Trinity of connection. We're connected to self, to others, and to source. Sometimes I've been in rooms where it could be 100 people, but I feel totally alone. So this is what authentic connection is for me. And this is what I think we need as human beings everywhere. So Michelle, thank you for starting these circles. Thank you for what you do for us. I love you both from the depths of my soul, my heart, my core. I am complete.
And I do want to just comment on what we're doing right now as we're sending love to Melanie for her share, because in Circle, we don't comment. We just let the soul speak, but this is our way of recognizing that her soul has spoken to us and gives her a chance to receive, because as women, we're not necessarily the best receivers. And so this gives us a chance to know that we are accepted for who we are, our authentic selves coming out through these words. And this is us recognizing that through just this act of giving and receiving in Circle. This allows us to process that and to start doing more of that. Everything that we learn with these principles through Circle allows us to take it to the rest of our lives as we open up more and realize what our authentic selves are. And that's where the connection really comes about, is really unlocking and being able to speak from the soul. The idea of just being able to sit there and tune into what they're saying and not worry about what you're going to say, because whatever comes out will be what was meant to be said. And you're not stressing about that. You start to realize that more and more as you connect to others outside of Circle. As I listen to my kids, I'm just there trying to be present with them, processing what they're saying rather than thinking, what do I need to do to fix this? They just need my presence. We learn that through Circle as well, as we start to unlock who we are and realize that we are okay with who we are. We start to lose a lot of that negative self-talk. We start to see, because of that authentic of someone else being seen and heard and witnessed by another human being, and realizing, oh, that wasn't so bad, or I'm not crazy, or that I'm not dumb for feeling that way. They feel that way too. And you start to realize that the more we have these deep conversations, the more we realize we are so similar, and the more that we can lift each other and support us in those similarities and really lift each other up. And that's where the real connection comes from in these circles. But then what we can take from our processing and being willing to be open and authentic. And is before we came on there, like, oh my God, I didn't do my hair, I didn't do this. And that's the whole point. Circle is you just show up wherever you're at, wherever you're at that moment. Sometimes you need the silence, sometimes you need the support, sometimes you just have so much to say. We get what we need to fill the cup so we can take that with us to go serve in the rest of our lives and to start having more of those genuine connections, not just inside circle, but with our families, with our kids, with the people, learning how to have that connection. We're sharing and learning through a safe, sacred space, which we have already created. Not as part of circles, creating that safe space for people to start opening up. And with that, I am complete. I'll let you stitch us out, Miss Abigail.
I know that Abigail wants to speak. Can I say something? We're way over time, but I really need to. Abigail, did you have something you wanted to share?
I love you ladies so much. And you each touched on the part about being in a group of people but feeling alone. This is so key because one of the things Michelle always tells us is that we don't have to do these things alone, that we're here for each other because we're always feeling like we're the only ones that feel this way. We're the only ones experiencing this way. And we take on that shame. We can't say anything about it. No one else will feel this way. What will they think about us? That was the first thing. And the second thing was circles are a way for us to come together. There is so much in the world that is looking to separate us. Everywhere we look, they are trying to separate us. And circle is a way for us to continue to connect with each other because we are not alone. So that's what I wanted to say.
And what I wanted to say is that I learned the first time I ever heard this term, which all of us know, my coach, Lisa Nichols, uses the term YANA, you are not alone. If you find these circles, like Michelle said, Abigail and I run the circles, Michelle runs the circles, circles are being run all the time. Create your own circles, particularly with a group of women, and birth these connections that bring us home to ourselves, to each other, and honestly to God. Because when we have that trinity of connection, another thing that Lisa taught me is not to serve from my empty cup. Because I do think as moms, we're so trained to serve for everybody else, for everybody, and like by the time, like by the, there's nothing left. We're still trying to squeeze out that last drop. But when we take the time to fill our cups, we can actually start to serve from our overflow. I just love, Michelle, the way you took that in. I saw you close your eyes. If anybody's watching this, I'm sure you can replay that, just taking that breath, taking that time. I love you both from the depths of my heart and the core of my soul and the core of my beingness and my entire soul. And I love you. I love you. I love you. I'm Melanie Soloway, and I'm stitching out with love, true, authentic connection, and complete gratitude.
I am Abigail Price, stitching out from Henderson, Nevada. And I just wanted to read what Melanie always comes up with acronyms. God, the first pastor God gave me was a pastor that made acronyms. And so when she does this, it just reminds me of Santiago. Melanie, I made this acronym yesterday. Melanie elevates love and nurtures inspiring souls. That is who you are, baby girl. And so I'm Abigail Price, stitching out from Nevada.
By the way, if you read that acronym, that's Melanie. She took my name and added those things to it, the adjectives to it. Thank you, my love. I love you. Love. Oh, I didn't blow up my candle.
I love the fact that it's 11:11 on my watch and I'm stitching out this circle. And for me, my watch reminds me, because I love the numbers, that I read gratitude at that moment. And I can't be more grateful than I am in this moment right now for these two ladies, but for the process of Circle, for what it's done to really just open up who I am and give a chance to speak, that I'm even able to have these conversations live right now, because usually Circle is not recorded, very sanctuary, not a place, but because we have this calling to do something more, and not do more, but be more, because it's not about the doing, it's about the being more. This is us being more, doing this a little differently, virtual, live, for people to see, to start opening up their eyes to how can I create this? How can I create my own circle? Join one of ours, whatever it is. I just want more women, more men, more everyone circling, because when we circle, we are in looking at each other, talking to each other, opening up to each other. There's no leader in front of the room like in the classroom. We are all leaders. We're all facilitators, which is another principle we'll get to another week. I am stitching out with gratitude and genuine connection with these ladies. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
I was just with the two of you.
And that's the point.
I know. Okay. Love you guys so much.
Do you want to experience the next Women's Circle with us? Join us at mamageniushub.com/co-create. And remember, you were never meant to do this alone.